So, unless you've been living under a rock by now, you have heard your girl Kamala Harris is making an appearance on the Rachel Maddow show. And I want to tell you, they talked about some spicy topics. That being said, we have a few clips I'd like to share. Roll a clip.
The part of your book that has people most upset thus far, which is some of your writing about the decision around the president abandoning his reelection campaign, the timing there and how it was handled. You say in part, page 46, it's Joe and Jill's decision. We all said that like a mantra, as if we'd all been hypnotized. Was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness. The stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision. Whose decision should that have been? How should that decision have been made?
So when I write this, it's because I realize that I have and had a certain responsibility that I should have followed through on. Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake. And as I write, you know, where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
If you said to President Biden that you did not think he should run again.
Yeah, or even that he should question whether it's a good idea. But I think that, you know, one of the reasons I wrote this book, Rachel, is there are actually a number of reasons. One is that it is unprecedented, right? To your point of what you said in your opening, we had a president of the United States running for re-election, 3.5 months from the election, decides not to run. The sitting vice president enters the race against a former president of the United States who's been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century.
Well, Madam VP, there's quite a few problems with some of the statements that you went on Rachel Maddow and made. One like the recklessness that you speak of, and you saying that you had certain responsibilities that you didn't follow through on. Just a quick question. Would one of those responsibilities happen to be letting the American public know about the deterioration of Joe Biden's health? Could that be the responsibility or the recklessness in which you speak of? I wonder. And then you make mention to how it was the closest election in the 21st century. And again, I'd like to challenge that with the notion that didn't Donald Trump win all 7 swing states? And also, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he also win the Electoral College as well as the popular vote? For the first time for a Republican since I can't even remember, at least in 40 years. And I'm just like, huh? So a lot of the things that she's saying just doesn't jive. But wait, there's more.
President, you're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
So, you seen it, you heard it, now I'm about to drop the verdict. Oh, Lord. So let's break down what she had to say in references to Pete Buttigieg. Basically, she was alleging that America wasn't ready for a gay VP. Even though America was ready enough to elect a woman of African American and also Southern Pacific descent, lending credence to her being a black woman. It's mighty funny how America was ready for that, but America's not ready for a gay VP? Don't you guys find it absolutely hilarious as you take a stroll down a sidewalk in liberal Looneyville and you hear the absolute lunacy that these people spoke with? Imagine if Kamala would have gotten her paws on the fucking White House. Imagine if she would have been able to be in the Oval Office. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we would have already been invaded. We would already be knee deep in World War III right now. We might would have been hit with an EMP attack, an internet hack, or some kind of hack. The country would have got bombed out, some kind of wild shit, something with the financial crisis where everything just completely shuts down. Like something absolutely wild would have happened, in my opinion. And I just think that why in the world would you go on this particular show to explain anything out of this book? You know that you're going to be hit with questions that you really can't answer, or that you are willing to answer, or that you're going to give bullshit answers like this, because obviously each show and each tour stop that she makes, how she spins the word salad, or how she tosses that word salad back and forth, is going to change. It's going to alter from show to show, from podcast, from venue to venue. So I'm just wondering how she's going to put the sauce on it. And I want her to talk about my favorite topic, and it should be yours. How in the world did they feel comfortable enough to hide the fact that Joe Biden's health has been deteriorating the entire time he was the president of the United States of America? And all I'm asking for is an answer. Kamala, you're on your tour right now. Please, let a brother know. Don't you want to know? But that's just my opinion. Love to know yours. Bruh, if you're feeling the vibe, go ahead and hit subscribe.